Assalamu alaikum, marhaban, ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome to the very first episode of our 10th season. As you can see, we've spruced up our look and are looking forward to bringing you the best of Muslim South Africa. Our country is facing one of the worst droughts on record, and access to water is non-existent in many areas. A human catastrophe was averted through the efforts of a group of people under the leadership of Yasin Teba, who launched Operation Hydrate. We went to find out more.
We've been struggling for water for 3 months.
Yes.
It's terrible. You can't do washing, you can't bath. The kids have to go to school. There's no water, no drinking water. It's terrible. We can't live like this anymore.
South Africa is situated in the southernmost region of Africa and is the only country worldwide to house an entire plant kingdom. But despite its lush grasslands and extraordinary biodiversity, South Africa is a water-scarce country, the third driest country per capita on the continent. Since 2011, warnings of water shortage crisis have been threatening the drier parts of the country. But what was once only a cause for concern for some has now escalated to a very frightening reality for the country, with 5 of the 9 provinces being declared disaster areas: Free State, KwaZulu-Natal, Mpumalanga, Limpopo, and the Northwest. The country now faces the worst drought in 23 years.
4th of January, we received images of areas in Senegal where farmers had let their cows out of their properties just so that they don't have to deal with the carcasses. We also received reports of a murder that took place. I think that's what got most of us interested. And before we knew it, we decided that we have to do something. Something needed to be done. And before you knew it, collections were taking place. Our aim was to get water to people that needed it. We had no idea that we would collect so much of water. We had no idea that so many people would start collecting water. And I think that only when we went down to areas like Senegal over that first weekend, Aliwal North, did we come back and realize that we have to do something more.
It was the shocking reports of a commercial cattle farmer's suicide, murder as a result of a fight over water, and rural community residents drinking sewage water that first inspired Yasin Teba and Yusuf Abramji to action, implementing the water collection and distribution campaign, Operation Hydrate, at the start of the year in response to the desperate need.
And Operation Hydrate is a good example of active citizenry at its best. It snowballed into a massive national campaign, if not continental and international. And the goodwill from South Africans has been amazing. What started off as a volunteer group has now become a fully fledged NGO. And the response from ordinary South Africans has been amazing. Corporate South Africa is on board. We have the support of government. We work very closely with government. And water is such a precious gift. Our religion teaches us that one of the best gifts you can give is water. And the response from the community, be it from mosques, from churches, from synagogues, from temples, has just been amazing. And it's a real spirit of Ubuntu. And what we are seeing at the moment is Ubuntu in action. And that is what South Africa is about. A number of the volunteers that have been part of this initiative were either on holiday, and a group of activists that started it really are the people that need to take all the credit for really spearheading Operation Hydrate.
In the space of just a few weeks, Yasin and Yusuf, in collaboration with various communities, NGOs, religious groups and corporate companies from across South Africa, have managed to raise over 60 million rand. Operation Hydrate has collected 3.5 million litres of water from big business and communities and have already distributed the water to the communities most severely affected. With this invaluable assistance of volunteers, an additional 1 million litres of water will be delivered this weekend.
We're at the central point. We refer to the site as Central Point. Central Point for Johannesburg. Basically all the water collected from the schools, from the local communities, all come to Central Point. We package it here in the pallets with the wrap around the pallets so that it's easier for us to transport. And then the trucks meet us here. A lot of the vehicles that we use are sponsored, or actually all the vehicles that we use are sponsored. So the vehicles meet us here. We then load the trucks from here, and the trucks normally leave from here.
Despite the enormous amount of money raised, water collected and distributed thus far, Yasin and Yusuf's efforts are far from finalized. With plans in place to raise an additional 35 million rand, Operation Hydrate will continue to create awareness by increasing the amount of water collection and distribution points across the country. The initiative plans to continue enlisting the support of all South Africans in their cause to provide this basic necessity.
Well, South Africans have been amazing. They continue to contribute. Lots of funds have come in. The minister surprised us with a 50 million rand pledge from the National Lottery Board. We're looking at allocating that funds to a number of projects in Senekal, Aliwal North. We've got an hydrologist that has already been on the ground doing studies, giving us feedback of where bowls will work, where aqua dams will work. And until we get that feedback, we're looking at investing it into infrastructure that will sustain those communities on a medium term.
So we will continue to see how we can help the communities in need, and we're calling on South Africans to partner with us. There's no competition. Whether you are part of Operation Hydrate, whether you're part of the Gift of the Givers, whether you're the lady who's taking your bakkie and taking water to where it's needed most, we all have to join hands, we have to work together.
Islam teaches us to put our faith to practice, and Yasin and Yusuf, with the support of so many others, have done just that. They've shown how with so little, so much can be achieved. Communities across South Africa are better off because of the intervention of these committed human beings.
It literally gives me goosebumps knowing that the people who rallied and continue to contribute on a massive scale are my fellow Muslim brothers and sisters. We can truly say that we are proudly Muslim and proudly South African. May Allah accept all the good work of all of you. Maulana Zakirriya Philander is standing by with this week's Q&A.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Maulana Zakirriya Philander. Welcome to Q&A on An Nur. Our first question comes from Facebook, and this person would like to know, what are the different kinds of prayer that Muslims practice? In Islam, the most important type of prayer is known as Salah. Salah basically translates as prayer or communion with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It involves worshipping Allah and praying to Him in a very specific manner as taught to us by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. This would form the basis of communion with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet had said, As-salatu imaduddin, that prayer, it forms the foundation of religion. It is not the only type of prayer. There are also other types of prayer in which a person can communicate with Allah, pleading to Him and asking Him for anything that he might need or anything that he requires. All other aspects of life can also be considered forms of worship if it is done with the intention to gain closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our next question was emailed to us and asks, what does the Quran say about conserving the environment? In fact, the Quran is full of verses that speaks and that advises man to look into the environment, to look into nature, and to observe the majesty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Over and above, the Quran advises man, Inni ja'ilun fil ardi khalifa. Indeed, I have created man in this earth as a trustee. It is important for us then as human beings to look after whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had put under our custodianship. The Prophet, peace be upon him, had advised the planting of trees, and he had advised whomsoever plants trees and looks after it, there will most definitely be a reward in it for him. He also prohibited the cutting down of trees and forests, as this is something that will most definitely harm the environment and be of no benefit to mankind. I hope we have answered your questions adequately. Till next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
What do you think of our brand spanking new look? Send us a tweet or post on our Facebook page and let us know. Adnan Peterson is a young man from the Boer Cup in Cape Town whose drive to create a better society is seeing results. We got to hang out with him to bring you this.
Today's youth are faced with a number of options as far as their career paths are concerned. Growing up in Boer Cup, Cape Town, with its different architectural styles, has had some effect on Adnan Peterson. It led him to studying design and engineering, and today he is set in his dream job.
My career path actually stemmed from my father being in the building industry his entire life. So that was partially the reason why I chose civil engineering. First, it was because of my marks as well with mathematics and science, but most of it was influenced because of my father in the building industry. Okay, Boer Cup, as is rich in architecture, you'll see that in the houses, in the mosques, all the buildings, and that was partially also that made me interested in engineering. Just the architectural side of the designs, what must have gone through people's minds back then, the tools that they used to build those type of buildings, because they were built to solid rock. 25-inch walls, not the standard wall that you get nowadays. So physically it was manpower and their own wooden machinery that they had to have used back then.
Adnan specializes in civil infrastructure and has been with a top design and engineering firm for the past 7 years, honing his skills in development services, including the designing of roads, wind farm infrastructures, low-cost housing developments, and flood risk management programs.
I ended up at this job while doing my in-service training during studies. In 2006, I done my in-service training for a year, and I applied after my studies, and I became a permanent employee in 2008. What I love about my job is the fact that I get to interact with clients and my colleagues and physically get to design things that are intricate and have to find solutions for these tasks as well. And working with a team, trying to find these solutions, and every day is a new challenge. So it's a new task, new challenge, more knowledge, more growth, sort of thing every single day in the office.
He's extremely good in putting things together, good ideas, you know. So what we'll do is we'll come up with solutions, and then I can actually take that solution and put it onto the computer. From there, obviously generate quantities and 3D images and the actual drawing plan. And that's obviously the face of our company as well as the face of what we're trying to build. And from that, contractors can obviously understand better what we're trying to construct. And in that way, he's actually been able to take ideas and put it on plan much better than what I could. And he's the go-to guy when we need to understand how to do things.
Despite his junior position, Adnan has already been able to add some impressive achievements to his resume, working on international projects such as the design of civil infrastructure for island developments in Eden Island and Seychelles, the 2010 FIFA World Cup flood risk management, as well as designing the My City feeder stops all over Cape Town.
One of the major projects I've worked on and I was really proud of is the City of Cape Town My City stops. This is plus minus 290 of them all over Cape Town, and we were appointed as the head engineers to design these stops. Another project is also in the Seychelles, Eden Island. It's a man-built island in the Seychelles, and we worked on that for 4 years. The project is now coming to an end and is open to public as well. On the My City feeder stops, I was part of a 4-man design cell, and we were tasked by our client to design the stations once they were approved. And once they were approved, we would design it from scratch with all the materials and necessary design criteria that is required of us. Once that was complete, we were sent to site to monitor the construction process of it as well.
I think the two of us speak the same language, because that's easier for me to speak to him and tell him, listen, yeah, this is what I want. And I can give him an overview of what I want, and he can take that and put it into detail. And along with him and the guys that came in after him, we've grown that relationship. Like the guys that are working now, the new guys that came in, has the same ability that he has. So I think what we did is we structured the way that we worked initially, and we improved in it. And so we got better and better over time. And I think right now we're developing and designing things at record speeds almost, you know, and that is because of the way that we work together and the way that he understands me and I understand him.
Work consumes most of his time, but it comes as no surprise that Adnan is an avid hiker and outdoors enthusiast, appreciating the world from above. He finds that hiking creates reflection time. Scaling the heights of Cape Town's hiking trails keeps him humble, a visual reminder of his smallness in a vast universe. Artwork, drawing and sketching also keeps the junior engineer busy.
Generally outside of work, my hobbies are hiking, angling. I do a bit of artwork as well on the side. But most of the time I'm outdoors, so I'm hiking on a Sunday morning, sometimes in the week as well. Maybe I run here and there. The point of reflection where you can actually come, sit quietly and take a walk, have a view of Cape Town, have a view of everything, and just absorb and realize actually how small you are and your problems in the world. So just to sit freely in the environment and just absorb everything in, I think that's one of the most important things that you can ever have on a mountain. And that's like the main attraction for me. I know most people would like to run on the mountain and stuff, but I prefer to walk and just look at everything, breathe it in and just relax. Yeah, so I'm really a fan of Instagram. I like to share my experiences with people. I like to share what I see. I like to share what's out there. And I think it's a good encouragement and a motivation for people who actually sit on a Sunday morning early behind their TVs, eating the kusistas and having their tea, to actually get out there. And you know what? I have kusistas on the mountain.
Adnan believes that humans are one of Allah's greatest creations, designed to seek knowledge, and finds himself driven by a desire to find out what makes the world tick, to improve the quality of people's lives 1 kilometer at a time.
I'm quite impressed at how Adnan, at such a young age, has already mapped out his way in life and how to get there. Every month, we highlight the best that's happening in your neighborhood. I'm happy, you're happy, and we're obviously all happy.
Community organisation is hosting a food fair and market day in aid of the needy at the Gatesville Hall in Athlone on the 12th of March. Amongst these activities, there will also be an informative morning talk, and entry is free, so why not come and support this worthy cause? Would you like to explore Islamic civilization and its very beginnings in South Africa? Learn all about influential Islamic figures, coexistence of cultures, arts and crafts, trade and Islamic literature, and much more at the Congress on Islamic Civilization, to be held at the University of KwaZulu-Natal between the 4th and 6th of March 2016. The Muslim Women's Network is hosting an annual Young Muslima function on Saturday the 5th of March 2016. Aimed at girls between the ages of 12 and 19, the function will address and entertain and is a safe environment for young Muslimas to learn and mingle. This outdoor function, which will take place at Settlers Park at 10:15, includes a guided hike through the park, followed by self-defense demonstrations, and light lunch can be expected.
From events in your hood to places to visit, our travel segment has really uncovered some hidden gems, and we're setting our sights on discovering even more. This week we look at what there is to eat, see and do in the Western Cape.
Being fit can be hard work and often with very little fun. That is until Rush came along.
Rush is a fantastic trampoline park which is great for all ages. From the youngest child to the oldest adult, everyone can come have fun here.
They can experience so much fun. With my fitness background, I would recommend anybody jumping at trampoline park because fitness levels is way more exciting than being in a gym for strenuous hours. Here you can lose weight, improve on your fitness levels and have fun at the same time, which is way more better.
As more and more people opt for a healthier lifestyle, exercise goes hand in hand with this. There's something for everyone as both young and old can jump around to their heart's content.
Well, they basically put with fitness classes, you can happen over here. Slam dunk, dodgeball, jumping in the foam pit, learning how to do backflips and front flips, basically overcoming your fears in the foam pit. So it's very nice though. If you haven't attempted a front flip or backflip in your life, this is the place to actually learn that.
Bookings are essential as the place often gets quite busy, but there are trainers on hand to guide and help you every step of the way.
Basically, we cater for even toddlers up to the oldest person is welcome to come here. And there's a lot of different pricing structures, but basically it's 115 Rand excluding the jump socks, and then you just buy that for 25 Rand.
There's definitely no horsing around as you make your way through the various courses on offer.
Quite a lot. I mean, it depends on you as the Muslim. So you jump in a kurta, it's fine. You can jump in your salah, it's fine. Hijab, fine. I mean, it all depends on you, as a human being.
The Cheetah Outreach Project, which many visitors to Cape Town know of being at Spear Wine Estate, has found a new home. Their new premises can be found just a few kilometers down the road, but with a much better layout and viewing area.
We are a conservation program at heart. We were started to raise awareness for the plight of the cheetah, which is a highly endangered big cat in Africa. We combine an eco-tourism business where tourists can come and engage in a tour of the facility where we discuss who we are and what we do, as well as having a meet and greet with one of our ambassador cheetahs.
Cheetahs are being killed at an alarming rate across South Africa, and with only about 500 of them left in the wild, much work needs to be done to protect the species. Studies show that farmers who suffer losses to their livestock are killing many of these cheetahs.
At the moment, the biggest issue for cheetahs in South Africa is the conflict with farmers. Their ideal habitat is open grassland, which is of course our ideal farmland. And the biggest population of cheetahs left in South Africa are on our farmlands. And although the cheetahs aren't the threat, it's your leopard, your lion, your caracal, your hyena, jackal that are the threats. They're the day hunters, so they're seen and blamed. So what we do is we work with the farmer to protect his livestock.
Ecotourism combines conservation with education, and there's no better place to learn more about these majestic animals.
It's an amazing experience. You've got a fully grown predator that will lie in front of you and purr, and to actually have that contact and that engagement with something like that is a life-changing experience.
While cheetahs are the main focus, there are also quite a number of other animals to see and learn about. Food trucks are popping up all over South Africa, dispersing their culinary feasts to a salivating public.
Okay, basically how it started was Siobhan called me one Sunday evening, and then we just sat and spoke about, starting up our own thing, our own business. And I just had this crazy idea, I always wanted to do a food truck. Not knowing Siobhan had the same idea, and we just went for it. That was the Sunday evening. The following Thursday we bought a vehicle, and by the following weekend we were trading, and that's about the long and short of it.
While there are a variety of different food trucks, Rack and Grill are serving up some yummy gourmet burgers and lip-smacking good ribs.
Our speciality dish is most probably our orangey burger. It's a 150 gram pure beef patty with cheddar cheese, caramelized onions and grilled mushrooms. I mean, that goes out those windows for about 100 burgers a day.
As their following grows via word of mouth and social media, so too their presence around the city. The cool kids already know where to get their fix of really tasty homemade chow. It's up to the rest of us to find them and partake in the feast.
For those of you drawing up a bucket list, be sure not to miss our travel segment, as there are plenty ideas to choose from. Don't forget to send us your comments, especially on our social media pages, and let us know what you think. From me, Mara Mukwanda, Salang Hantle, Assalamu Alaikum.